Log in to KofiPiesieTV.com and get Spears of the Mossi Volume 1 by Kofi Piesie Research Team. From Spears the Pen Volume 2 by Kofi Piesie Research Team. Spiritual Combat Volume 3 by Kofi Piesie Research Team. One Night Before Bed by any Herit, Shawn, Khalfani. Kalawa's Trip to the Motherland by Kofi Piesie. From Cocaine to Consciousness by any Herit, Shawn, Khalfani. As I learned, we all learn by Kofi Piesie. Also, if you want fresh merch, go to our online store, Family Connect Apparel, and get all the brands. Also, get our 54 deck of quiz and educational cards available now on KofiPiesieTV.com.
You muted, Kofi.
Oh, okay. Peace, and Black African Power, y'all. Welcome back to Kofi Piesie Research Team. Welcome back to Kofi Piesie TV with the Kofi Piesie Research Team. We got another edition of Warrior Scholar. This is our fourth guest. We're going to get started in just a second. First, I want to say ETM Hotep, Dua Aku, Dua Netcher, Fatmu Alafie, Fatmu Riwi, Fatmu Iwa Pele, Majuba Iba Ie Gungun, Majuba Iba Ie Gungun, Majuba Iba Ie Lakba, Majuba Iba Ie Lakba, E Gungun, Kiki E Gungun. We always want to give honor and praises to the ancestors, because without the ancestors, we wouldn't be here. We are our ancestors. I also want to stand honor and praises to the true and living elders out there, according to an African perspective and from an African world view. We got Brother Sutek. Brother Sutek, you got anything, man, before we get the show started?
Yeah, man. Peace to the fam. Shed Lafayette Ali. Make sure y'all please like the show as you come in. Help me share the show also into any groups that you think may fit into this paradigm. So yeah, today we got our brother Fortune on. I'm kind of excited about this because we have some of the same passions with research and music. So it's gonna be an interesting interview.
All right. So before I let Fortune briefly introduce itself, you got to go through formalities first. Let me share my screen. Share my screen. All right. Hold on. Let me go back there on YouTube then too. All right. Again, the 14th guest on Warrior Scholar is our good brother Fortune Believes. All right. As I learned, we all learn. We know that is a motto that we live by, we follow over here. We must not let our ancestors down. And today's show, we always dedicate a show to an ancestor. So today's show is dedicated to Steve Biko, a South African activist, African nationalist, African socialist, who was the head of the apartheid. So Majuba Iba Steve Biko. Majuba Iba Steve Biko. All right, a warrior. We had to define what a warrior and what a scholar is. A warrior is from the Warrior. This is from the etymology dictionary, by the way. Warrior, warrior 1300 from the Old North French, warrior, Old French something. I am not even try to pronounce that. A warrior, soldier, combative, one who wages war, from warrior, wage war, from warrior. Warrior, a person engaged in an experience in warfare broadly, a person engaged in some struggle or conflict. Scholar, a person who attends a school, studies under a teacher. 2, a person who has an advanced study in a special field. B, a learned person. 3, a holder of scholarship. This is from the Webster Dictionary. Scholar, a person who studies a subject in great detail, especially at a university. That is the Cambridge working definition. All right, my perspective of what a warrior scholar is. My meaning of a warrior scholar is someone who is well studied in waging war against mistruths, pseudoisms, and willing to stand on the battlefield against institutions and platforms that promotes that. A warrior scholar is someone who is on a mission for the truth, for accurate and sound information. A warrior scholar is one who is disciplined, good character, morals, and willing to fight back against those who use information dangerously. This is T'Challa's perspective as a warrior scholar. A warrior scholar is one who has embarked on a journey to self-mastery through rigorous physical training in an effort to better one's state of being. A warrior is one who embarks on a journey of self-mastery through countless hours of meditation in an effort to learn the art of stillness, becoming harmonious with their environment, and all the existence of a warrior is molded, guided, and torn down and built up so that their people may live a continuous and proliferate. Those who seek this path knows the invaluable gifts of humility and knows their place amongst the hierarchy of their people. But what does a warrior have to do with a scholar? A scholar is one who embodies all of the concepts mentioned above with the focus geared towards scientific literacy. Literacy as a whole, one must first be able to read and then develop a superb reading of comprehension skills in order to properly relay the message received through one's scholastic endeavors. Proper demonstration of methodology in a style of discipline and field, the study of only a way to reach a proper conclusion. So a warrior scholar is one who fights on behalf of universal truth, one who seeks to truly set the standard of combat the omnipresence of misinformation, one who stays in their lane, humility, and does not portray themselves as a master swordsman if they specialize in any other spheres. All right. Again, real quick, go to our online apparel store, Mboka Family Connect Apparel, and get your Warrior Scholars t-shirts. Also, we still have available, we have some more of our quiz and educational cards. So if you don't have those, please go get them. We appreciate those who supported with those. We sold out twice with those, and I'm about to sell out of these other ones. I got a few left. I've been getting great feedback for those quiz and educational cards. And also we still have maybe a couple of face cards. Put a name to the face cards. These are cards that we created with a lot of our teachers, our scholars, and our revolutionaries on the cards. Let me exit out of here, and we'll get the interview started. All right, let me go back over here. Let me stop sharing my screen. All right. I'm still sharing. All right. I got Blak Panther thing up here. Hold on, let me turn my camera back on. All right. Brother Fortune, real quick, man, can you briefly introduce yourself?
Yeah. Peace, y'all. Hey, my name is Brother Fortune. Some people know me by 93. I also go by Fortune Belisle, which is it's my professional name I use when I do acting or anything public on a professional level. Yeah, I am a hip hop artist. I am a independent researcher. I wouldn't necessarily define myself as a scholar, not yet, until I get like y'all and start publishing on my own. And I'm an actor, and I am, I guess you could say, a upcoming like personality. I plan to start my own channel talking about different topics like music, movies, history. Just a all around regular guy. Just somebody who got around people who talked about topics I was interested in. History. Really loved history. And so I got involved a little bit with parts of the community. And yeah, man, just hoping to put out content. Hoping to entertain, make people laugh, make people think, man. I'm just a regular person. So that's my little introduction there.
Okay. Peace to everybody in the chat. Please like and share the show. Please share the show with those that you think that may appreciate this interview. Again, like I said, please share the show with those you think that may appreciate the information. If you know, don't share it with those that you just going to look at it and don't click on the link. Share it with those you know that may appreciate this interview. Peace to everybody in the chat. So far, shout out to Sister Anisha, Dr. Oya, my aunt, Lamar Pope, Amir Black. Yeah. So man, let's get into it, man. Let me pull up my questions and we're gonna get straight into it.
I want to say shout out to everybody in the chat, all the Mossi family, all the my Black scientific family. Sees Dr. Ma'at. Never got a chance. I talked to her one time on the phone back in 2016 with Unc. Never got a chance to really build, but I really appreciate that woman and her contribution. Being a woman, being one of the few women that ride with the big boys, and she more qualified than a lot of these people as far as like literacy, talking about science. I think that's dope. A lot of my favorite teachers when I was in school were women. I think they're adept at teaching.
Right.
So shout out to Sister Ma'at.
Yeah, shout out to Sister Ma'at. She's definitely doing her thing. And right now, like a lot of people know, I don't watch a lot of YouTube. I just don't watch a lot of YouTube channels. And her channel right now is the few that I watch. Her channel is like the favorite one. Hers right now probably hers and Pseudo Killers is probably like the only ones that I kind of I'm paying attention to now and watching it. So I definitely try to catch her shows every Saturday. I can't catch them when she do them on Friday. I was able to catch it this Friday because I was off of work, and so I was able to catch the one on Friday, and I was able to catch the one on Saturday. So
we gotta build platforms like these up. We gotta build them up. Cause I remember I was on Garfield's show. He was saying, "Yeah, man, you got to make it." I can't do a Jamaican accent to save my life. You got to make your show sexy. See, he was talking about how you got to make the show sexy. Basically, you got to liven it up. And I'm like, hey, look, how live was geometry? How live was social studies? I mean, the core focus should be the education, and it's fun to be pseudo. Trust me, I've been there. We're going to talk about that. It is extremely fun to be pseudo and experimental, and it is so vanilla for people to deal with. So I find it that as people find it vanilla to deal with science and technology, they think that unless it's jazzed up with a bunch of rah-rah or a bunch of crazy alien tinfoil hat stuff, that is not, it's not going to get views and stuff like that. But these are the platforms, the ones that get Black people actually talking about science and biology, knowing about your body, knowing how how medicine works, knowing our contributions, so we don't have to be telling everybody that's the white man's science. Well, the white man got a lot of contribution from your people to have the things that he have today, and you probably would have developed it in your own way had we stayed where we were. You know, so we have a part in it. We have a stake in it.
Yeah, I just don't understand that when they say that it's the white man's science, because on one hand, they say the white man stole everything from us, and then on the other hand, that's the white man's science. So which one? Was he the innovator of that science, or did he steal it? Which one? Because those same people that's saying that the white man stole everything from us is the same people that's saying that's white man science. That's crazy to me.
That convenience. When I don't agree with it, when I don't like it, it's the white man science. But look, the white man science did with things that they take from the motherland to create things like this.
Right.
But we own it all day, white man science, and we not socializing with each other. We being antisocial. We being all these things that we boogeyman the white man up to be, because sometimes the white man just be a regular human being. No, the white man got to be Godzilla in certain people minds. The white man is the reason I didn't pay my income taxes, brother. Oh damn! Let me not talk like that, because that's the accent that I use for Sonetta. Let me not. I ain't saying nothing about Sonetta, but that's the accent I've been using for him. But yeah, we boogeyman him up to the point where he's not human. Like we've never gotten one over on our enemies before. Like they've always just had us trapped, and we only walking around at their mercy. No, I mean African history is vast. I want to right now. I actually do want to shout out. They call themselves Each One Teach One now, but I helped coin New Black Knowledge back in the day, and those brothers do a lot of good work talking about what I'm just talking about right now, our contributions to history. So shout out to those brothers. MBK, but they call themselves Each One Teach One now, but to me they always MBK.
Okay. All right. This first question, man, the first 2 or 3 questions is always the questions that I asked everybody that comes on the platform. So name some of your favorite warrior scholars.
Favorite warrior scholars. I guess it'd be a little cliche to say the obvious. People like Dr. Ben, people like Dr. Ben and Dr. Clark. They are like they're just the essentials when you come in. What's the basics? You come in with those people. I actually put a couple books up here, and I can't pick a favorite scholar because I think nobody has cornered the market on scholarships. But I'm gonna show y'all a couple books that I value. Right, so this is one book right here. Let me see if I can see this. This book, Shawn. This is a Shawn book right here. Shawn recommended this book, The Atlantic Slave Trade by Philip D. Curtin. Yeah, that's right. This book right here, very good book. Shawn recommended it, brother Shawn, any Herit. I'm just going by the order of the pile, and I'm not blowing smoke. But we gotta shout out the team.
Yes, sir.
We gotta shout out the team, because you know what? This is all about publishing your work. This is all about getting together, brothers and sisters, sharing the information together. This is a collective for the research team. When did this one come out?
Man, it's been
come out in December.
That came out last year. It came out last year. I don't even know. Was it April? Sutek, when it's been a year. That book been out.
About April, May,
like April or May, and then
it's real. You know it's real when I couldn't even use a Mossi coupon to get this. I had to pay like everybody else. I'm up here trying to use food stamps and trying to get the book. Now this scholar right here, boom. This is a Nehemiah Let Zion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I would recommend his work because he talks about West Africa. He talking about medieval West Africa, and of course, it is vital to get your views from the Arab scholars, because unfortunately, it was the non-Africans who did most of the chronicalizing of West Africa. We were not a fully literate people. We were oral traditionalists. But if you want to learn about West Africa in that time contemporary, you're going to have to deal with Arab scholars, and then you got Europeans. So, I mean, you got to take it with a grain of salt because, they're not our people, but those are the people who documented. This book right here, this was like probably the first guy in the conscious community who I bought a book from. Jonathan Owen, Smash Rockwell. And it don't hurt that he's one of the greatest hip-hop artists of all time. He is the original rap god. Eminem took that from him. You know what I'm saying? This book I bought. I went to Kemet on trial back in 2015, and I bought this book with my income tax. I jokingly told him, I'm like, I wait till I get my taxes to buy this book. But I liked it because it was he tried to cover a lot of bases. That is my favorite Amon Ra Squad member, sans my cousin. I ain't gonna be biased, you know. Ngozi is family, so automatically he in there. But I love Jonathan. This is a good book too. Slavery and African Ethnicities in America. Restoring the Links. Gwendolyn Mitlow Hall. Book like this, which I have not finished, but book like this is good because it talks about which specific tribes came here and what marks they possibly left. You know, when we talk about the loss of identity, they say, oh, you're African and American. That's 2 continents, brother. How can you be 2 continents? I'm like, well, if you want to get specific, there is some documentation, people who made attempts. This is at least an attempt for people who are abos, or for some reason we skeptical of our African identity. This is at least an effort to find ethnic identity. A book like this, obviously, on research methodology. I know the squad is big on that. Shawn always used that. I'm thinking he's gonna name his next child research methodology. Talked about it so much. You gotta learn how to research. That's still a work in progress for us all. I know we love Wikipedia. I love Wikipedia.
I mean, it's nothing wrong with Wikipedia, but Wikipedia
just gotta know how to source it.
Right, and it shouldn't be. That should be your first thing of research, but that shouldn't be your end of research. We start with Wikipedia. We start with some journals. We start with some, with some books, but that shouldn't be your end all be all. It's Wikipedia. That should be your start.
An overview, and then you source
right
everything. Last book I'm gonna put up here, and then I'm gonna just start shouting out books to y'all in my little pseudo bookcase over there. I'm gonna just shout them out, and I'm gonna see if y'all have those books. But this is the last one I got in this pile right here. Shawn recommended this book. I think Shawn recommended. Yeah, I think I seen Shawn playing with this book a while ago. Well, or maybe I bought this book, because I knew it was expensive and I seen it on sale. I'm like, okay, it's just it's documenting West African kingdoms in this time period. What is it? Let me see. 500 to 1590 AD, West African kingdoms. Pretty good. They beat you over the head with the chronology all the time. Like they keep showing. Oh man, let me get this camera thing right. They keep showing like the time frames or whatever when things is happening in West Africa.
I need that. I
got it cheap.
Where you get it at?
Got it on Amazon some time ago. I'm about to shout a couple of these books out, and you tell me if you got the book or read the book, and people in the audience, y'all can put a 1 or 2 if you read it. One if you read it or know or aware of it. 2 if you haven't or uninterested. Civilization or Barbarism.
Oh,
that's a Diop book.
Yes, most definitely. We had a book club on that. We never finished it. We need to finish it. We got halfway through the book and then finished it. But I read that book some years ago.
Okay. The Myth of Negro Past. That's by Hershkowitz. He's a Jewish author. He talks about African Americans holding on to African customs. That was done in the early 20th century. Brother Akonfo, or y'all might know him as Panda Heesey, he's on the research team. He talked about that a lot. That book. Hell, I'm gonna get basic. How many of y'all got the Bible, the Holy Bible? No matter how you value the book, right?
Yeah.
The Bible is a gun. It was a weapon that we used, and we used the Black church that was a haven for us, regardless how we criticize the religion or feel about the religion. The Bible maybe even I can't even not say the Quran or anything to do with that culture, because once you go into West Africa, you're going to see that's one of the ways that we were literate by dealing with the Arabic. I mean, that's actually
I have about. Go ahead.
We got mixed feelings when it comes to religion, but you know, intelligence is about learning, the ability to learn. Our ability to learn and adapt to the religions of our oppressors and use it as a tool, it denotes the intelligence of the African. And we became more spiritual than all of them. We became more adept and better. We became the best pastors, imams, and practitioners of these religions. So those books, like my brother Kofit said, he says, eat the fish and spit out the bones, take the wisdom. And then you see what was able to be, what was taken to be syncretized with African customs that helped us survive here in the New World. So what other book do I got? Medical Apartheid. Y'all ever read that book?
Oh yeah, I did. I hadn't read the whole book, but I got halfway through the book, man. A couple of years ago. I think I read that book in 2017. But yeah, I got it sitting on my bookshelf.
Okay. Let me see. I got Y'all ever heard of a book called Exiled Egyptians?
Oh, yes, sir.
Egyptians.
Yeah.
I don't know how to feel about that book because at a certain point in my journey, I was really hoping that we was Egyptians. I was really hoping that they came to West Africa. Like, I think it's an interesting take on it, but I wouldn't. To be fair, I have to be critical, just as critical as I am on any revisionist historian that makes West Africans something totally different. I forget the scholar's name. There's a scholar. I think he's like a biblical scholar. I don't know if it's Derek something. It might be Derek Lange. Now this guy is talking. He's another revisionist historian that says West Africans are Canaanites. We are Canaanites. I think if anybody knows who Ron Shields or Divine Prospect is, I think he might be aware of the information where he makes a case.
Right. Now that you talk about it, I have that book. And matter of fact, Ron Shields or Divine Prospect was the one. Like I have quite a few books that he recommended that I ended up buying some years ago.
Yeah, and I'm just looking at this bookcase. Forgive me, y'all looking at my neck and stuff.
Yeah. While we on that, name the last book you read or the book you are currently reading.
It's not a scholastic book. I was reading I have audio books and I have digital books. I have let me see. Probably okay. Let me pull these two books up. So I have was recently reading a book on one of my favorite music groups, The Temptations. It's an old school music group. I love those guys. That's an audio book because I'm getting into that. And then the last book I actually read, it was a bunch because I did like a presentation in early February where I was like debunking some information made about West Africans being Hebrew Israelites or Jews. So I might have been reading, what is that old guy name? Oh, he's gonna probably see this. You can call me old. His name is he dealt with the Limba tribe in West Africa. He had a book called Hybrid Hate. Tudor Parfit. Tudor Parfit is I guess you could historian. He's not a geneticist. He's a British man who documented the customs and the journey of the Limba, who came from Sinna, which was in Yemen, and they came to Southern Africa, and they were singled out because they were practicing Jewish and Islamic customs, really the Jewish customs. The Limba tribe, in particular, when they did the genetic test, their paternal lineage took them back. I want to say almost half of them have the haplogroup J marker. Some of them have T markers. That is indicative of intermixing with men from the Middle East. These Jewish men taking African women and settling in some part of Africa. I guess they got kicked out, and then they were in Yemen and they came back to West Africa, and that's where he found them. So he's famous for that. I read his book, but these two books here, and I showed Shawn this. These two books here. Let's see. The forgotten. I'm sorry, man, because the camera can't see it correctly.
No, you got it. I blew it up where everybody can see
The
it.
Forgotten Diaspora by let me see, Peter Mark and Jose de Silva. And then Peter Mark wrote this book, Portuguese Style and Luso-African Identity. These two books are very important for people that want to know about the Jewish influence in West Africa. Before I even knew how deep this went, I was just aware of the exile of Sephardic Jews, Spanish and Portuguese Jews in the 15th century during the Spanish Inquisition. I guess you said Portuguese too. They were exiled to West Africa, and those people made their way into Senegambia, Senegal. They made their way into Cape Verde, Sao Tome, and they mixed with African people, and they created the Luso-African community. The Portuguese community in Africa is made up of Portuguese Jews, Black people, specifically from places like Angola and just right along that coast, Senegambia, and they mixed and they created Lancados, right? So the Lancados would be mixed descendants of Jews that and Black people who lived along that coast, and they continued to trade with the Portuguese crown, and they had their hands in a lot of trade, including the trade of slaves to the New World. And you see a lot of documentation of European and sometimes Arabic. You see a lot of Europeans going to West Africa after 1492, and they'll say, "We're seeing all these Jews. We're seeing all these Black Jews on this side of West Africa." And a lot of it, I would say a significant portion of it, has to do with Sephardic Jews coming mixing with our people. As a matter of fact, I think the Cape Verdeans in particular, when they came to America in the 19th century, they came for whaling. They came, I think it's Boston. I think it's Boston. I get Boston and Baltimore confused. I think it's in Sankofa's place, Boston. They're deep there, Cape Verdeans, and they have the Jewish ancestry. That's why you see them all light skinned like that. They're Portuguese and Jewish. So that's a interesting thing that I got from these books, because when I tell you about my history, it started with the whole biblical thing, the whole research and the thing. So as far as the books are concerned, I got the books. I just need to make sure I'm reading these books. It's easy to just, hey, look, I wasted my money because I ain't reading. Got to read these books. And for some people, it might be easier to get an audio book. Well, whatever lets you comprehend what you read and be able to disseminate the information and understand it, go for it.
Right. Well, what book you learned the most from? What book you have learned the most from?
Go Dogs Go, Dr. Seuss. No, let me stop. No, then that it probably wouldn't be a conscious community book. If I learned the most, it would have been probably a secular book. I could say what the closest would have been these two, because I really got into West Africa. It's hard to pick, man. The most probably would be these books dealing with the Jews of West Africa, because it gives you it all lines up. It tells you about the Portuguese coming, because it's like the European discovery of Africa also coincided with our enslavement. So everything I just had in my head about slavery, oh, white people are strong, they just beat us up. When I came across this type of information, now I'm seeing, oh, wait a minute, we had beef before, and Black people wasn't no Black power unity. Black was just Black. That was just the color. We never seen white people before. We never viewed them as a threat. So the people that we wanted to get away from us, that we actually were able to conquer, gave them to them. You know what I'm saying? And this book gives a lot of context to that, because there's a lot of converging. White people getting kicked out. They getting oppressed, and they getting thrown here. Portuguese they're trying to score an empire, and here come the rest of the Europeans. So I mean, it's very interesting. I could say the most I've learned would be dealing with why the slave trade happened and how it happened, the motives. It got a lot to do with the Portuguese.
Right. They started. They did, sir. They definitely started a lot. The Portuguese. Yeah. So let's walk us through. Walk us through your journey. To becoming consciousness. You was I don't know if you was we talked on the phone. You said sorta, kind of. So because I remember back in the day that you mentioned being a Hebrew Israelite or something in that fashion. And before you was my Mossi warrior clan brother, I was familiar with you before. You were actually a member before I became a member of the Mossi warrior clan. But I knew you before you was a member of the Mossi, and before I was a member of the Mossi. I remember. I don't know when it was. It was some years ago. Like I said, it definitely was some years ago. I got introduced to you via Sarnetta's TV. You was on Sarnetta's TV. That might have been the conference that you talking about. You had went to when you brought Brother Jonathan's book, his book, and I seen you on there. You was on there with somebody else, and y'all was chopping it up about a lot of stuff. And I was like, who is this young cat from Chicago? And I don't know if it was on that one where I heard that you started off with Hebrew. You was a Hebrew Israelite first. I might be mistaken, but I know you was on there. You had that you had that red, black, and green with you. You had it. I seen you on a couple of videos.
That was promotion. I had to promote. That was if y'all familiar with the brother Jehudi Ma'at, he I don't know if he still does it. He made like custom pieces, right?
Oh yeah.
So he made an and I supported his business. So that had NBK on that. I'll talk about that because see, I was at the time I was a brand ambassador for NBK. You know what I'm saying? I'll make sure to mention it. Matter of fact, remember to ask me about NBK because that's the reason I was NBK all everywhere, man. I was like, that was my team. I wanted to be supporting them. So look, I was born in Chicago, right? Early 90s. I grew up watching TV. So I'm a TV raised baby. I had parents. I was one of the few people on my block to have a father in the home. But the roots of like the strength of my family, like a lot of people family, I would like to think one of the last great generations in African American families were probably grandparents born either during the Depression or right immediately after the Depression. So my grandparents were born during the Depression. My grandfather, as far as my history is concerned, my grandfather is an immigrant from Belize, and my last name Belisle is like one of the most common names in Belize. He's a success story, man. I'm trying to be like him. So he came here and worked. He came to Louisiana, worked, and when I look at my family, like that generation, the older generation, when it was harder for us, it seems like our family was stronger. The people were stronger. And so that was the backbone for me. But I did grow up watching a lot of TV, and I didn't see myself. And I was aware of racism, white supremacy. And I could say that affected a lot of us. You don't see yourself. You want to be like the white people. You want to, you know what I'm saying? So becoming aware, I guess, in short, when it came to consciousness, the most conscious people I ever thought of was the Nation of Islam. I watched Malcolm X. You know, a lot of people watch Malcolm X and they start quoting the movie and shit like they read a book. You just watch Malcolm X. You know what I'm saying? See, you sick, bros? We sick. You see the mentality of black people type shit. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to be a Muslim. I used to be like, I had not even been a church person, but then I was like, you know what? This Islam shit, not even knowing what that's about. I'm like, man, yeah. I used to challenge Christianity from an Islamic perspective, didn't know nothing about Islam. It got to a point where my interest in hip hop took me to where I met certain people like older cats, like my friends, uncles or whatever. They was hip to that kind of stuff, and they would tell me about this. They put me on hip hop artists that was conscious, like Immortal Technique. I started listening to him. I was like, oh snap! So I started, being all crazy into conspiracy theories. I was a big Illuminati guy. Like you couldn't tell me if there's an eye somewhere, then you satanic. Like looking for the signs. After a while, I guess their paradigm switched, and they start talking this Hebrew Israelite stuff. I was like, but and I'm real close with one of them fellas today. He makes music. He's a one of my producers, or I haven't worked with him in a while, but he put me on to that stuff, or at least they exposed me to it. But something in my spirit didn't connect with it fully. Like, I would see those brothers on the streets in downtown Chicago. I'm like, damn, these niggas talking about praising God, but they don't look like God taking care of them. Niggas, these niggas is, I don't know, this nigga, I seen this one guy, nigga had K-Swiss on. I'm like, man, his feet was coming out the shoes. I'm like, man, it got to be some kind of success rate with this religion. It got to do something for you, because I just see a bunch of angry Negroes screaming together, and they not looking too good or whatever. And so I don't know, something made me rebel. I don't know if I was right or wrong for that, but I said it's got to be some kind of answer, because the way they giving this information is very opposite of what it's trying to do. It's very like feeding the ego of the individual so they could use the knowledge to put other people down. Like I would see people talk to their mothers because they were Christian. She's going to hell. She don't know the scripture. I'm like, damn, that's your mama. You should hope your mama don't go to hell. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is crazy. So, long story short, at first, like, it was cool, but then I just couldn't fully get with it. I took some of the tenets, the no eating pork and all that stuff like that or whatever. It seems like most people in conscious community don't eat pork unless you Chief X. But I was just playing, man. I ain't got no problem with that guy. Long story short, I just start typing in Hebrew Israelite, I guess, or it came across my browser around like 2013. And the first video I seen was a Sonetta TV, on his first Sonetta TV channel video. It was called Why I Left the Hebrew Israelites. I said, somebody went against them guys, and it was Brother Sankofa. My brother Sankofa. I love that brother. Mm-hmm. The first dude I fully was confident in. And he talked about his experiences. And I was like, wow, this brother's powerful. This dude is powerful. And when they tried to slander him, he came back even more powerful. So the second guy after him I seen was a brother named Brother Polite. It was some tall, crazy-looking Negro with a damn Egyptian falcon on his cheek going against some other quacko called Priest Officer Tazariak. And they had a debate. And I'm like, oh, okay. Then the third guy right after that, because around this time, because I got good memory, it's around like November, December 2013. There was another guy, a short, high yellow, loud Negro named Sarah Sutanseti. He was going against this. Oh
no, you good. You good.
Oh, okay.
You good.
I thought, see, you put the. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was talking to my stepdaughter.
Okay, yeah, and then he was going against this guy, Nasi Yashavel. And they did an interview, and there was some other southern bald head nigga, loudmouth nigga, the God Killer. I was like, who is this guy? This guy calling himself God Killer. Like, my God. So I start watching them guys, and I start watching Brother Sarnetta. Peace and Black Power, family. Like, I start watching his channel, and it was over with. I was like, yo, Sankofa was my favorite scholar. I like Brother Polite. Start watching the channel, start learning stuff, and my whole thing at the time was, dang, I'm learning stuff so I can actually build and maybe have a combatant to the Hebrew Israelite thing, because, they're pretty strong community. Whether they wrong or right, they present themselves strong. So I'm like, man, dang, there's actual ways you can deal with people like this and spread the information. So I got into it like that. I'm gonna speed it up because I can talk all day, and I want to make sure this go. I reached out, long story short, to Brother Reggie. Brother Reggie, he gets all the credit for bringing me fully into interacting with you all. Wouldn't be here without Brother Reggie. I'd be a dude in the comment section. Or maybe it would have took me longer to talk to any of y'all. Brother Reggie said, man, look, you come to New York, I got you. I said, I'm coming to Kemet on trial. Came to Kemet on trial. Brother Reggie met me at the museum. I got pictures and everything. Broke down the metal net. I don't know what the heck he was reading, but he was reading the glyphs. He showed me around a little bit, and he had a lot on his plate. So Brother Reggie gets all the credit for actually embracing me and taking me in. And for a long time, I was an Egyptomaniac, and it kind of let me down. I'm like, dang, man, I'm not an Egyptian. Wanted to be an Egyptian. And I love that culture. It is like what Greece is to Western civilization. But I have to take an interest into the interior Africa. That's who we are. When I do a test, I don't see Egyptian. I see parts of Africa that my people came from. So took an interest. No. We were. You can definitely look and see E1B1A and probably a smaller. I haven't really seen L. I think L3 might be there, and those are the genetic markers for African Americans. But we definitely had a presence there. But to say that we all are those people is I'm no better than the Hebrew Israelites or the Moors or anybody that want to create a revisionist history for West Africa because they want to be an exotic Negro. So that is still a work in progress because there's so much to learn about West Africa. Our history is different. It's documented different. So that's where I'm currently at. I'm content with it. I learned Black history altogether, but when it comes to identity, saying who I am, I no longer try to claim that anything that I can't prove. For all I know, Kofi, you could be a Nubian if you could prove it. Anybody in the chat, y'all could be Egyptian if you could prove it. But I won't blanket us all as anything other than what the research and evidence points to, and it's all Black history, so we can all appreciate it. So I know that was a long segment, but you know.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. You know, because I was there at one point in time. If you go back and you look from 2014 to 2000 and earlier 2017 is when I started getting into West Africa. I'm a part of a group the Seshuma Ani Meta Nature. I'm one of the founding members of the Seshuma Ani Meta Nature. The group is actually comes from a class that everybody that is the founder of the Seshuma Ani Meta Nature group, we was a part of Wu Jao's class. And after the class, we didn't want to stop meeting. You know what I'm saying? We had already started building outside of the classes, which the class was 12 weeks. After we graduated and got our certificates, we wanted to continue the continuation. So we started the Seshuma Ani Meta Nature. We was known as the Warriors of Ma'at first before we changed it to a historical name, the Seshuma Ani Meta Nature. And from that point on, I was like Egyptian crazy. Like I got a whole bookshelf just full of books just dealing with Egypt. I'm talking about a whole bookshelf from the top to the bottom. So I was Egyptomaniac at one point, but in 2017, I got introduced to Benjamin Njai, aka Blak Panther, who is one of the founders of the Mossi warrior clan. He did a show, Divine Prospect had took the House of Consciousness, and it was the House of full something, but it was the extension of House of Consciousness, and that first guest was Benjamin Njai. The Science and Technology Conference, that's what my first time seeing him. He spoke after the conference was over with. But then when he did the what's the name, the presentation that he did, it just resonated with me so much. So I started buying the books that he recommended, and from that point on, I've been specifically dealing with West Africa because I'm saying, okay, I know we are a majority of us that's over here in America comes from Central or West Africa. So I need to be studying West Africa. So Ben definitely got me into dealing with West Africa. So, but let's talk about, man, what's your thoughts, man, on West Africa and Kemet, then, man? While we on the subject, man, of Kemet, and we're talking about West Africa, man. So what's your thoughts, man, on West Africa and Kemet?
My thoughts on that, yeah, that's very important for anybody. Like that's a crossroad. English language beat me up. I think a lot of people, maybe not all, but a lot of us gonna run into that. It's just Kemet, like one, I would say the issue I had was the literacy thing. When we talk about civilization, one of the qualifications for some people, they were like, hey, you got to have a government, right? You have to have, I don't know, an army. You have to have certain, but it came down to literature, came down to writing and documentation. Because when you're doing debates on when you're using your keyboard or you're in the comment section, we quoting these sources, right? I used to be able to, with Kemet, them Bible dudes used to get ate up, even if I was pseudo or not with it. I used to quote all the papyruses. Boom, look, time frame. Boom, boom, time frame. You stole this from here. Look, you dumb. Moses don't exist. Type shit. And then West Africa, because see, when you're dealing with scholarship and you're dealing with the worst kind of debate person to debate with is the revisionist historian, right? And so when someone attacks a culture, you can't use another culture to exonerate the other culture. You have to use the culture to defend itself. The culture is supposed to defend itself. It is. Mm-hmm. So if I were to say something was in the Hebrew culture or the Islamic culture, they would say, no, you don't understand. Go here. This corrects that. So if somebody comes into West African culture and try to assimilate it into their paradigm, like an Abo, so say, the people in West Africa, there was nobody in West Africa. The people in West Africa came from America, this hypothetically. Or let's say because I've heard Hebrew Israelites say nobody was in West Africa. West Africa become populated. The Bantu expansion, right, happens around, let's say the first, 1 AD or a little bit before that. Oh, that also coincides with the Assyrian captivity, not the Assyrian captivity. Yeah, okay, Assyrian captivity. They went into captivity in the 7th century. And then they kept going to captivities from here and there, and they kept getting dispersed because this is their narrative. And while they're getting dispersed, they wandered. They wandered to all 4 corners of the earth. Nobody was in West Africa. And the Bantu expansion is just us coming into West Africa around that time. That whole area is us. So when we went into slavery, that was all us. So what do you use? Because if they try to do that with Kemet, I could say, hey, the population of Kemet is writing at this time, speaking like an Egyptian, worshiping like an Egyptian, not a Jew, worshiping like this, customs like this. That's intact. West Africa, how does West Africa defend itself from someone trying to co-opt it? If I say we all Moors, West Africans can't defend themselves. They have no, in this sense, because I would love for somebody to prove me wrong, because I would need that strategy against someone like that. They say they're not what they seem to be. They're this other thing, and we have no writings or nothing documented at a time earlier to discount that. So I always had an issue with West Africa's ability to protect itself from foreigners, and then if we even talking about the fact that the documentation on the people ain't from the people, Arabs, Europeans, and by the time West Africans get the right, they're writing being influenced by them same people.
But people don't understand oral tradition. Like when people attack oral tradition.
Yeah, build on that, because I had hangups about oral tradition.
Right, but when you talk about oral tradition is just not mouth to ear. You see what I'm saying? And that's what people get, because, and I understand when people come like that, because anytime that I can tell you something, and then what I tell you, you could tell somebody that you tell it a little bit different, and through times from people spreading it's something totally different. So I understand when people say that, but oral tradition, right? But that's not particularly or what oral tradition. Oral tradition has so many different phases, and before there was writing, there was oral tradition. There will be no writing without oral tradition.
I believe
again, there will be no writing without oral tradition. So when we talk about oral tradition, you have what we go to now, how they was able to keep some of the things. Let's talk about what we look at, performance arts, or things that we do, dramas, we do plays. That was a particular thing of oral oral tradition. You know what I'm saying? Where they would keep the traditions intact by displaying it through oral tradition. I mean, through dramas and through plays. There was storytelling. There was the griots that did storytelling. Even through music, they kept their tradition intact through music. So you can see, if you look at study the customs and the traditions, you can see how the customs and the traditions stayed intact due to the oral tradition. If you understand the different layers of oral tradition, I don't want to go too far in it because there's so many different levels that I can go to explain how they was able to keep it intact. But dramas and plays was one, not just mouth and ear. There was storytelling, there was music. You know what I'm saying? There was so many different things. And if you get, I done wrote so much, I think that's in Spiritual Combat. No. That's in I wrote it in the new Ben's new journal, the Pan-African the Pan-African Journal for the Conscious Community. I wrote and I broke down what is oral tradition. I go through each point and each step, and I go back to prove my point that there will be no writing without oral tradition. Writing needs oral tradition, but we forget that. And I explain, and like I said, and I break down that it's not just mouth to ear. You know what I'm saying? So I go through a whole thing of it on the journal and my up and coming publication. I talk about that a little bit more. I kind of elaborate a little bit more. I kind of start back off where I left off at my new publication that's coming real soon in the next month or so. So, but like I said, that's the whole thing. But like I said,
that's great. That's a whole show.
Yeah. So
in short,
go ahead.
The oral, I don't know, man. Like I have to still learn how to appreciate the oral tradition too much. I mean, more, because I'm used to writing since I was a little boy, right? And I'm trying to get into the mentality why we didn't write or why it wasn't a necessity. What I can gather is we were very down home, isolated. We weren't necessarily a big happy family, and maybe you don't need to write nothing when you can just walk right outside and just say, "Hey, Grandpa. Hey, you. Hey, this. Hey, that." I mean, you know what I'm saying? Maybe it just wasn't a necessity. Maybe because, the basic communication is talking to somebody, or sometimes it's nonverbal. Perhaps we got along better in that capacity than the Egyptians. Now, the Egyptians, I try to be I would like to think that people help each other. Egypt, okay, Kemet is part of the Near Eastern culture. It's not alone. It does not sit alone where it's at. I know we big it up. I don't separate it necessarily from that culture, because real historians don't. They influenced and they were influenced. They wrote. It's a debate between Sumer and Egypt. I'd like to think they developed it at the same time, because there's so much of the same stuff going on, so much trade. From what I am aware of, they traded with those people. They didn't trade with us off the bat like that. And if they did, it wasn't as frequent as they traded with those Semitic people that they despised so much. So when it came to writing, how could they not be influenced by a culture that possibly could have been writing a little bit before them? Or whether they're not, because people say Sumer wrote first, people say Sumer wrote second. But if there's a possibility that Sumer wrote a little bit before, how could Kemet not say, "Hey, let's start our own writing system"? Or if they wrote first, how could it be not something there that makes everybody in that culture interact in a way where they have to message each other through writing? So I would say, oh, go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I wanted to show something. I'll show something after you finish your thought.
I was gonna say it's fine for them to have those aspects that are more appealing than us, as far as the gold and the elaborate tombs. It's fine for them to have that more than us, and us still say, "Hey, look, that's them we're still not them. And it's fine for us to have some of the older rock structures. It's fine for us to have the Great Zimbabwe. It's fine for us to have had that history in the Green Sahara. It's fine for us to have the knock culture. It's fine for us to create inoculation in West Africa and us have our own separate history. So there's a lot to appreciate in West Africa. It's a lot for us to learn about. I would just say, in short, Egypt can be flashier. They're a little bit sexier.
Yeah, they is.
They are. It's a matter of opinion, because you got some West Africans people that's in the West African thing that think that's better. I would say I would like to think most of the world is attracted to Egypt because of it's just shinier. It's just shinier. But they all up in West Africa too. They all up in East Africa. Them white folks is interested in all of us. They all, and then in the interior, you know what I'm saying, you find some of the oldest people. I mean, look, the people with the oldest genetics, they ain't in Kemet. They in Southern Africa. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. I mean, you know, it shouldn't be no competition. Right. The fact is, when even if we weren't writing, we were smart enough to communicate. It takes intelligence to do what we did with oral tradition. It takes intelligence to learn. Right? That's what it is. That's all it's about. Competence. Can you learn something? Or you gonna die? West Africans survive. You know what I'm saying? You know what? I would dare say, even though we don't practice the same religion no more, we might have held on. We might have held on a little better than Egypt. Egypt got ran through real bad. Yeah. West Africa got ran through, but I mean, Egypt got banned. They had a lot of invasions. It was pretty sad their last days, man. You got Greeks running y'all stuff. This is crazy. People that was sitting here learning from y'all, running y'all. Right. But yeah, so that's a thing that a lot of people are gonna deal with. But just be who you are. It's okay. I mean, you can learn everything. You can learn every eat the fish and spit out the bones with every culture.
Yeah. Let me show this real quick. Shawn, you funny too. I'm looking at Shawn crazy in the chair. That boy there.
Hey Shawn, while you talking, why don't you come on the panel, man? You got some questions? We got some questions. Let's check your haplogroup real quick.
Yeah. But here, this is what I'm talking about. Like oral tradition is just important as writing. This is by me. This is in the Killmonger's Corner right here. This is the volume 2. So I breaks down what is oral tradition. Is oral tradition worth it to the so-called professional historians? I even talk about and go through things where historians had problems with it. The European historians, because they didn't understand it, and we're using their same thing as oral tradition wasn't it good. Even criticizing oral tradition, I breaks it down, building credibility of oral tradition. How does the tradition differ from written sources? So I breaks that down. So I go into the different levels of oral tradition and how those different levels of oral tradition are used, and it's just not by mouth of ear. I talk about the folk tales and folklores. I talk about the art that they created, the storytelling tools that they use, and so forth. So it's about 5 or 6 pages in here, man. It's some good information. So if you got the book and you hadn't read it, and you want to understand a little bit more about oral tradition, read that chapter in that book. But let's go ahead, man. Let's move forward, man. Let's talk about we build off the phone, and you wanted to kind of deal with the Pan-African verse, Pan-African or Ado identity.
I got you. No, I mean, yeah, I just so I don't have a case for your screen is still on you.
Oh,
I don't know if you want to switch. I don't know if you want to switch to me.
Oh yeah.
No, I just wanted to talk to the community, because like 2017 was an interesting year. I don't know why it's that year that all this stuff stick to me, right? Because before that, it was all Hebrew Israelites and Moors. I don't think Moors have ever really been a real threat to people who connect with Africa. You know what I'm saying? But then you got the ADOS, which is people who are like what they say, foundational Black Americans. But it to me, it's very similar. I don't know why I connected with Aborigines, the Abos and Ados. I don't know where a lot of this stuff come from. I don't know where the anti-African sentiment come from. Like, where here inside of our people, we decided, man, we just completely not rocking with Africa. And we are our own people, which, yeah, you can make a case. We are our own ethnic group. We mixed up and all of that. But I always feel like it is imperative to know your roots. And a lot of the arguments I keep hearing is some simple stuff like Africans don't like us. They don't like you over there. I'm like, man, I don't necessarily care if somebody likes me over there. It's a connection with the culture, the language, what is mad. And correct me if I'm wrong, Sankofa means go back and fetch it.
That's exactly what
But
it means.
It don't mean go back and fetch it if somebody don't mean go back and fetch it if somebody like you. Mm-hmm. That's not the caveat. If something's mad, you think I'm gonna care if somebody give me an ice cold stare while I go back and go pick up my phone after somebody tried to take it away from me? You know, Africa is in our blood, man. And I feel like whether you don't go repatriate, because some people make it like you have to repatriate. Why don't you have some kind of stake in it? Why don't you go extrapolate some of the resources? Why don't you go invest? Why don't you go put your money into it? There's a lot of things in Africa that we criticize the Chinese, we criticize the European, that, you know, all of them not necessarily permanently staying there, but deal with it in the sense that it's where we come from and it's a resource and everybody else is dealing with it. If you don't want to go to Africa, why don't you go somewhere that's mostly black? Why don't we go colonize the islands out here? It's mostly black people in these places. Sure, you know, we're gonna have issues everywhere we go, but if you're so gun-ho about getting away from white people, then you're gonna have to get dirty. You're gonna have to get in the mud, because the white people got in the mud when they came over here. If you know the history of white people coming over here, you know how many of them died to have white supremacy here. You know, they used to go in places in England and London and round up children off the streets and put them on ships to come here. Not all white people came here on purpose to be slave masters. Some of them came over here to work, and they were not as fit as us. We were fit for the job. That's why we were able to maintain and stay here and become our Ados, Abos. I'm in a minute, I'm gonna say they're the same thing. I just have a thing with it, with their philosophy. But I mean, I understand some of the points that they make, and I'm not I wouldn't force Pan-Africanism on anybody, especially in the sense that, oh, you need to do this or you're not that. I don't do the no true Scotsman fallacy, or I say the no true African fallacy, that you're not this if you behave this way. You're not African if we don't all go over there, or if we don't all do this. But I will say, I've met people who reject the notion of even learning the African language. I'm like, look, we thought it was gone, and we complain, like y'all go complain about racism, white supremacy. You complain about the fact that these people enslaved you, but then you continue to stay as just the African American, meaning you just only speak English, you only think with their politics, you only think through their paradigm, and you don't extrapolate nothing of yours that came from there, that came from Africa. I mean, that came, you know, you don't take nothing that was yours, regardless if those people not the most welcoming. African Americans ain't welcoming to each other. You want to talk about who don't like each other? But homicide is one of the leading causes of death for black men here in this country, not over in Africa. Niggas killing each other. And I'm using that word. I know I shouldn't, but we don't demonstrate the most self-love over here. We're an amalgamation of tribes forced to get along. We melted together and became an ethnic group. And I bet some of that animosity from the people, the Yoruba people, the Dahomey people, I bet you some of that animosity is still there. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to us as an ethnic group, yes, we are a separate ethnic group, but we have roots that go back. It's there. Go reclaim it in some way, shape, form, or fashion. I would not ever force my ideology on somebody, but I say we should be open, and we should not be ashamed to have a connection with Africa. And that's what I got to say about that.
No doubt. I definitely agree with you, man. I kind of stayed away from the the 8OS thing. I know when it was popping, that was the conversations.
Well, it's contentment. It's like, hey, look, F Africa or F other people, and that's not to say you don't hold them accountable, because we've had hurtful things happen to us from different ethnic groups of the diaspora. That's not to let them off the hook and just say we got to be all loving and be punch bags for them. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, man, when something's yours, you got a right to it in some form or fashion. Go for it. And yeah, I just think they just want a bigger piece at the table to stay here. Then what? It's just like the one criticism I have of the Abos, the Native Americans, is their paradigm is the slave trade was allowed. Now, white people put in all this effort to deceive us about a slave trade, but we still here on the land. But it's more white people than us, and they took our land. To me, that's actually worse than being taken from Africa and being a minority in a place that's not yours. You're here on your land, for one. They come to your land. 2, deceive you on your land. 3, enslave you. 4, 5, they outpopulate you. And now, just because you think that you are Native American or you can prove that you are, what you gonna do now? Because if this your land, if we all hypothetically decided, let's go back to Africa, where they don't like us, like how we did in the Sierra Leone and Liberia, where they don't like us, and we fight our way, and whoever survives is left in Africa. We're gonna survive one way or another in Africa. In America, you gotta fight the European on your land if you want to talk tough, if you want to talk going to war, or you just say, I'm a Native American. You deceived me. I found out. Now give me a piece. Let me sit at the table with you. You're still sitting at the table with white people. You don't have the option to go back to the place that's yours. In the place that's yours, you've been beat. And you know what happens when you get beat in the place that's yours and somebody takes it over? In warfare, you don't get it back. You can try to fight it back. You can try to fight and get it back, but that's highly unlikely. So I don't see what the end game of being a Native American is if it ain't getting some kind of monetary reparations. You know what I'm saying? You can't go away. Can't leave.
I just don't understand that neither. I mean, I understand it, but they don't understand. I mean, I wrote about that too. Why people are, attaching themselves to these Native American, and it ain't but 5, but you got so many Native American tribes, right? And most of the Abos are attached to the so-called 5 civilized tribes. And those 5 civilized tribes, they took on the identity of the European, that they changed their bylaws to the Europeans. They became Christians. They enslaved African people. They was given slaves by the European.
No, they didn't try to twist that. They're not civilized. Those are $5. I've never got too deep with that. And I really pray I don't go to a family picnic and some nigga named Chief Woodenhead come up to me talking about some, brother, they deceived you. Look at you. You're light-skinned. You're handsome. You don't get that from Africa. These dudes are ill. And we have that kind of identity crisis going on.
Hold on. Let me see what this Robert Rand, peace brother Robert Rand, he says that's not fair assessment that we were mistreated in Liberia and Sierra Leone was not true. Now I'll speak to that real quick and we'll move on.
I'm gonna clarify what I mean.
Yeah, I know. You have to understand, especially when you talk about Liberia, the people, when you look at them, dang, I can't even think of the society that started the people to going back to Africa, right? And when you have this Back to Africa movement and the how they came across, they met with the chiefs over there, right? So they was trying to buy a piece of land from over there, and they didn't want to sell the land. And then they forced their way, or the Europeans forced their way to sieging some land and then sending Africans over there. So it was already, was going to be some
they sent us off. They sent us off.
And we had no clue. We had no clue of what they did, right? So when we get over there, you know what I'm saying, these people are frowning down on us because they believe we had something to do with that also, of them coming in. Because if you go back and you look and you research, they tried, they met. If you go back, I did a few months ago, I even talked about this on the Mossi Warrior Clan channel. I kind of broke down who these people were and how long they tried to negotiate land and what was the reason on trying to send people back to Africa during this Africa movement, and what happened and how they was able to seize the land and then put us on the boats and then send us back. That was smoke. How am I lying, Shawn? Shawn, shut up, Shawn, please. Shawn is.
Can you put dude comment back on the screen?
Hold on, let me go.
Robert Rand. I'm familiar with that name, bro. Before I even had a voice to speak on any platform, bro, I used to see this dude name. Hey, Robert Rand, I hope you listening. If you talk about me, no, I'm not saying, I'm not making a definitive statement on Liberia or Sierra Leone. I was just what I was saying regarding Aborigines, right? If we decided versus them, right? If we decided we all want to go back to Africa, because all of us don't want to go, and we got good reasons. We have Africa exists as a place that we could go to. The islands, Jamaica, all them places where we out of the majority, even though they're places are poor and people, they don't want to go there, they're there to go. The Native Americans, they don't have nowhere to go to get away from white people. If we're all Native Americans, you're outnumbered, outgunned, less educated, you're less equipped on your land. I'm saying it's a worse situation in the paradigm to deal with your enemies than the African or Pan-African or whatever paradigm dealing with African identity. I'm not making a statement necessarily on what happened to our people in Liberia and Sierra Leone. If it came off like that, I didn't mean to say it like that. I just wanted to draw like kind of a comparison to solutions in the paradigms of the Aborigines versus Pan-African or just African-centered. And I know you're not coming at me, bro, but I just wanted to make sure we don't want to never lessen anything that happened to anybody in our history over here or over there. So just wanted to clear that up, if anything, Mm-hmm. And you know what? If you see some good comments like that, post them up here so I can respond to them.
Okay, no doubt. Let me see if you're back to Africa with African American identity. We're going to find ourselves stable. We'll get back to that, man. But let's go ahead because we are already an hour and some. I try to keep at least an hour and a half. We're a little over an hour now, so we still got a little time. So let's talk about your family lineage and your haplotype A. You on mute?
No, just briefly, because I didn't know that was something. I didn't know nothing about that. So when it comes to family, I think here in America, right, most of us, what happened to us, it seems that we become, I want to say, a failed matriarchy, or at least, or a successful matriarchy. A failed one or a successful matriarchy. And a lot of African, I would say, would you say that most African cultures are patriarchal or matriarchal? I only know of the tribes in Ghana really that are matriarchal.
Well, if you studied people, hold on, let me fix my glasses. People are under the assumption that Africa is the ethnic groups of are matriarchal societies. That's not true. You have
but the
matriarchal societies,
are, right? The Fanti and the Shanti, they are, right?
Yeah, but they are. But like I'm saying, but they're not. But people are under the assumption that they are every African ethnic group is a matriarchal society, and that's just not true. So that's just not true. You got some that are, that traces their lineage back to the mother. You have some tribe that traces their mother back to the father. You got some in West. If you look in West Africa, you got some that are matriotic and patriotic. It no matter where you go and you look. You know
it looks
what I'm saying?
largely patriarchal, but
right, it does.
Not completely attributed to Islam or anything, though, right?
No, sir. No.
Okay,
no,
so in our indigenous form, we had patriarchy, because today patriarchy is getting beat the heck up. Patriarchy getting beat up. The sins of granddaddy past is catching up to us brothers.
Right, and that's why I just shake my head. I don't get into discussions and stuff. Stuff that I see, I'm not one to every comment that I see on Facebook. I got to go and address that.
Yeah, I'm trying not to be like that. I used to jump in everything, got me stressed out. So look, my point of bringing up that is I identify family wise, just the way my family is set up is even though I've always sided with my mom because it's my mom, and a lot of us spend more time with our moms because the nature of the man is to go out and work. You're going to spend more time with your mom. That's why women are the best transmitters of culture. They're going to give you your culture. They're going to teach you the songs. You're going to get to a point where later on you get with dad, but dad out there working, especially in environments before we were like sitting down, lazy, getting fat. Daddy got to hunt every day. Eventually we can go hunt with daddy, but daddy got to hunt. Daddy got to contribute to society. Daddy got to go work. Daddy got to go break his back. And you spend all your time with your mom. Now in slavery, we know that men, sometimes they were taken from plantation to plantation. Overall, men's lives are more expendable than women's. We are expected to give our lives, which is great, especially if our women are behind us. They're definitely worth giving your life for. They're a valuable commodity, a valuable part of the community. They give life. They're worth protecting. So in slavery, of course, we stayed with our moms. And a lot of people don't even know their dads. You know what I'm saying? So take it how you want. That's probably a discussion to have. Is it how beneficial or how that affected us or whatever? But I was grateful to have my father. And the reason that I'm identifying patriarchal is, of course, I ate the fish and spat out the bones. You talk to a guy that been around Hebrew Israelites or whatever. You talk about a guy who seen how important pedigree is when it comes to who you come from. And when you see somebody worth honoring, I honor my grandparents because those are the hardworking men in my family. And that becomes scarce after a while. That's like a scarcity. Like you see a lot of our women doing the damn thing, but a lot of our men are either in jail, they dying, or if they're around, I don't know. Some of them, a lot of them are broken. And I came up in the hood with a lot of broken men, so I can look back at my granddaddy and say, "Look, dude, I want to be like you. I got your name. Your father came to America, but he was a hustler. I got documentation on him. He was just doing the dang thing, and he raised children, and they all became successful. He was a highly esteemed man. I want to be like you." You know what I'm saying? And when I did my DNA test, I found out that as far as this whole genetic thing go, I don't have the common lineage of African Americans, which is the EM2 or E1B1A. Most African Americans have that, and that's a wonderful, beautiful lineage of men who did so many great things. I have the A marker, so I wish I had somebody who can break that down far better than me. But when I was like, what is A? What is that? It's just A. They're 23andMe. So I talked to my cousin Ngozi. I talked to other people, and they was like, "Oh man, dude, you're the original man." I'm like, "What is an original man?" Y'all talking like some 5% of Nation Islam stuff. No, I come to find out that is one of the oldest human lineages. So if you're dealing with science above just the ethnic identity, in Africa you have like basically it's alphabetically go down the tree, A, B, then you got C, and I think from C or DE or one of them, everything branch off paternally. And then you get to outside of Africa. We start populating outside of Africa. Well, I got one of the first. I'm not, what's the brother named Albert Perry? He was A double zero. His lineage came, I think, from the Cameroon. that's the oldest male lineage chromosomal atom. Well, I'm like A0, like not A00, A0. And I was like, man. And I was wondering that because I looked at my grandpa and, you know, as, you know, special, like, you know, is that something that's like on the pseudo side? Is that like me just like, dang, you know, but it's an important lineage or whatever. I share that lineage with Khoisan people, the San people, Nama people in Southern Africa. Those are some of the oldest people genetically that carry that lineage. They have beautiful cave art. And on my mother's side, what did Shawn say? Tell the people you're a part of a tribe who was cowardly. Hey, look, check this out. So no, we gonna talk about it when the test. So I did Rick Kittle's test, and I'm getting the results back probably in the summertime. But Shawn is talking about the connection to the Fanti tribe. He's saying that the Fanti people were cowardly. He's saying because I had mentioned a possible connection to the Fanti. But here's the thing with the Fanti were slave traders. I got that. Where's that book? It's a book somewhere. It talks about a particular Fanti slave trader. But anyway, he's trying to come at me. But the reason I even bring up the DNA is because for people who, you know, some people don't believe in DNA. People who don't believe in DNA, they think it's false. I would say another thing is to find out. It would be interesting to find out your genetic marker. It might tell you something about yourself, the people who share it, the regions that they come from. I highly suspect that I have a strong connection to Ghana, specifically on my mom's side. So both of my parents did their genetic testing. So you know, that this whole segment was just to big up genetic testing. I am someone who subscribed to it. I say learn as much about you that you can. As a matter of fact, 23andMe, if y'all ever do 23andMe, they have a health aspect. I learned some stuff about myself. Why I'm wearing glasses right now. why I'm why I can't digest bread the best way. I got like a gluten thing, but I still love bread.
So how you go about doing that? Because I took the 23andMe, man. They always sending me stuff, man. And
you can unlock it. You can pay for the health part, and they'll unlock it based on what was already. But here's the thing, though. I'm wondering, like, is that good? Because like I took that test in 2017. That anything they find in that saliva would have been 2017 me. So I don't know exactly how that works. But when I got the results around that time, it was true. I mean, some of it was true. I did have my vision wasn't the best. I'm wearing glasses. And the thing with the bread, but it said other stuff. Like it says other stuff, so it's interesting. So anybody interested in genetic testing, I say go for it. Learn as much about yourself as you can. If you're a skeptic about it, I mean, well, learn another way. I'm not gonna force my beliefs on nobody. Find some documentation on yourself, on your family. Do it that way. Do your genealogy.
I'm gonna have to unlock that health, man. I hadn't unlocked the health. I took a 23andMe maybe about 3 years ago, and I'm still searching some things. But I come from my mother and my father was in that. We talked about the Bantu migration earlier. We spoke on it a little bit, and They come from that Bantu migration. My father comes from Kenya, and my mother comes from Uganda. My father went into Nigeria, and my mother's family went into Ghana, and I have some roots in Sierra Leone. So
Did you do Rick Kittles?
No, I did 23andMe.
My stomach.
Yeah, I did 23andMe. I didn't do Rick Kittles yet. I'm finna do it because I want to find out now what Pacific ethnic group I belong to in Ghana and what Pacific ethnic group I'm gonna do the maternal first. I'm gonna do the maternal.
See, you matriarchal.
And
you notice they always show the people that do their mama sad, because that's the sad people identify for, because people they don't show an interest in the fathers. They do it like that. And I'm like, look, it depends on the kind of individual, but you should do both, because your mom is everything.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely
equally responsible for you being here.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of the Bantu migration, before we move on, I think it's interesting because my marker represents like, okay, a separate, like, so I'm not of the lineage of regular African Americans, but I mean, I'm still an African American. So what happens is you have the Bushman or hunter gatherer, because those people with the A markers, they tend to still be hunter gatherers. In West Africa, you have the hunter gatherers. Then you have the Bantu migration, which is the people who, the people of Africa coming from different regions. They could have been coming from Green Sahara. They could have been coming from east. They could have went west to east and then coming back. So what happens is they come in with I guess you could say superior things, like they farm. They know how to herd the cattle. They're not moving place to place, hunter gatherer. They come in like settling. So when you have a more successful culture, or you have people who are more progressive, or they're more successful at surviving, that some of the hunter gatherers, they say, I'm finna go over there with them. No more of this eating every 4 days. They eating every day. They're planting their crops, and it's coming. They don't have to travel from place to place to the crops. I'm going over there. So what happened is my ancestor absorbed into the Bantus, right, who spoke a different language than, more than likely, than my ancestor, who was the A marker, and he got in there. He got him one of their women, got one of y'all women, and settled in there. And that marker kept passing down from father to son till it got to me. So even though I have that little small marker, that's just a small part of who I am, automatically I'm West African.
Mm-hmm.
I'm West African. So that's a interesting thing. I can see how that mapped out. So let's keep it moving.
What was it? What was it? How much did you pay for the Rick Kittles? I know I wanted to get it about. I did my 23andMe 3 years ago, and then a year after I got my 23andMe, I had started doing. Immediately after I got my 23andMe, I started doing a lot of research and finding out how long my folks been in that region in Ghana, and in Nigeria, and where did they come from? I found out they came from Kenya, Uganda. And
what's your marker? Your markers?
Well, on my mother's side is L3D1C. On my father's side, I can't never remember my paternal on my father's side. But hold on,
some kind of
I'm finna pull it up right now.
My mom is L2. My mom is L2B2. That's Bantu.
My father's is EU175.
You're a real nigga. You're a real nigga, bro. Y'all was you West African.
Yeah, so we West African out over here, man. So Sutek, you got anything, man, before I go into the last two questions? We running out of time.
Yeah.
This is a good bill, man. I go into the music. I think you touched on a couple of people who influenced you musically, but what made you decide to want to get in the booth, get in the yoke?
Man, I don't know. Maybe I got like an old soul. I knew I wanted to be an entertainer because I used to always make people laugh. I'm a real silly guy. Just entertaining, and then like just how music made me feel when I was younger, and I was like, I want to do that. I can connect with people with the music. Oh, Shawn want the link. Shawn want the link. All right. Ngozi was not too hot on Rick Kittles, so who is best to use? He probably not so hot on Rick Kittles because he charged Rick Kittles tests is $300 a piece, and well, it's more than that, but I don't want to,
Is he still doing? I know, like about a year ago, I was finna attempt to do it, but I didn't. He was doing
it's still pricey. It's
yeah,
still
I'm
pricey.
saying the payment plan. Like he had
they got it. Yeah, Affirm. That's
Yeah.
what I used. I used that recently, Affirm. You know what I'm saying? Because I had the money to do it. So I'm like, let me do both. So he didn't disagree necessarily with the science. Everything is everything. But he said Rick Kittles in particular was asking him questions. So that means that they were kind of on the same level, like peers and stuff like that. From what I gather, I don't want to throw nobody under the bus, but the science wasn't necessarily the problem. I know everybody said the price for an estimation on the ethnic group is questionable. And he was saying that Rick Kittles still was finding out things. And Ngozi was somebody who he spoke with, and they chopped it up basically as peers, not as somebody that I gotta look up to. You know what I'm saying? But as far as let me finish with the music stuff. So yeah, of course, Biggie, Tupac, I listen to all of them. I'm like, man, I'm gonna be that. I told myself I was gonna be a wrestler. I told myself I was gonna be actor. So far, I'm not. I don't be wrestling, but I do acting and I do music. So I got in there because of just all the great rappers at the time. And I started making my music, man. I started making my recording myself at 15 years old. And I'm in a position to do it myself. Actually, I got music coming out, but that ain't what this is about. I talk about music, but I ain't here to promote it. Promote man.
Oh, go ahead, man. We family, man.
Yeah, man, promote all that.
We don't promote all that, man. Let's talk about it.
Try to be humble. It's just hip hop. But when I got into this whole conscious community, I don't use that term no more. Woke, conscious, nothing. I'm informed about things that I know. I like that. It was hard to make music that was conscious because I'm like, man, I was like, what rhymes with chakra? What rhymes with power stones and crystals? Back when I was into that kind of stuff. But then I was like, man, let me just be me. And then, don't try to be yourself. Learn, apply it, but don't do too much because a lot of us are deprived of power. We're powerless. We feel like we're powerless. And you know that knowledge is power because what's the first thing somebody do that read a book? Go try to have the power over somebody who didn't read the book and tell them how much they know. Niggas want power. Everybody want power. That's why these people got influence. People talk about how much they can shut somebody down with the research, but you can't shut nobody down with nothing else, with no brute force. So you compensate with
your ancestors didn't have the power. They got their ass kicked.
My ancestors still alive. They still alive.
Them damn funk ass Fonte, they couldn't do nothing.
They can sell your ass into slavery, Shawn. They can sell your ass into slavery.
Yeah, they weren't selling nothing. They got punked out.
Hey, check it out. What was your ancestors doing though? Okay, I guess your ancestors were successful, Shawn, because y'all damn Arab Jews, whatever y'all did, y'all.
You know what I am.
Yeah, I know what you are. Y'all,
you know
whatever
what I
y'all
am.
want.
I'm the broker.
Yeah.
I'm the broker.
Habir or whatever your ancestor was, he got him a black.
We control the trade. We control the trade.
Yeah, but you look. I dare you to claim them. You don't claim them.
Hey, that's me in the trap.
Look,
that's me in the trap. That's me in the trap. Timbuktu, that was me. That was me in Timbuktu.
Your ancestor had an overbite, bro.
Yeah.
Let me go back though. But I appreciate Shawn because he be messing with us. Yeah, man, it was hard to do all that, so I just decided to do what I do. And I mean, you can always find knowledge and information even from the people who ain't, super duper black, y'all. I'm black now. That ain't how we do that.
I'm blacker than black.
Yeah, you gotta find a way to drop them jewels in the midst of all the I guess normal hip hop.
Yeah, you do. A great, you know what? I'm gonna tell y'all the one of the best people to do it, and I know people always use Tupac, but I'm gonna just tell you, there's a song Tupac got called "How Do You Want It," and that's not even, you wouldn't even think that's a conscious song, but in that song he got 3 verses, each of them about something different, and he all made it tied to the "How Do You Want It." First one he talking about a female. The second one he started getting into like the political or whatever, like what's going on or whatever. And he tied all that together. If you can make somebody dance to some important then you did something right. And that's a model for a lot of my songs that I make. And then there's the acting or whatever. That's just like an outlet for, you know, creativity or whatever. But yeah, man, I think it's important to do the stuff that you love, because, man, trust me, if you're not somebody who just trying to impress with the knowledge that you got, it's going to take a while to get through books like this. Well, maybe not this one, but any of the books that's worth bragging about, man, you're going to spend some time. You might spend a summer really trying to learn a book. Reading it's not hard, but it's not the easiest thing, even if you read a book. Like, can you comprehend what you've done? After you read it, can you say it without feeling like you're just doing it from memory? Can you actually absorb what you're reading? So y'all seen me a long time, probably before any of these platforms came on. I was on Sinetta TV, and there were opportunities for me to just be in the front. Some of it was nervousness. The other was, do I really know what I know? Or should I be confident about what I know? And I said, I'm not going to be pushed in the front all the time, because that's how you get a situation like a young Pharaoh. I ain't afraid to say nobody's names. I don't know that guy. I don't got no, you know, other than the information, I don't got no problem. But a lot of people, just anybody, they crawling out of the sewer trying to be scholars because they want to have their voice heard, and social media lets it be like that. I said, no, I'm going to have it my way. I'm not going to do that. Nope. I'm a forever be a student. Forever be a student. And when it's my time, it's gonna come. You will see me talking about certain things, and it's gonna be things that I know about or things that I can actually go to the source about. So that's why I've never been all over y'all screens. I had opportunities too. I've been on the phone with Unc, met Unc in person, met the whole squad. I met all of them. Been on Sinetta. I've been in some of these people's house, slept in people's houses, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm friends with a lot of these people. You know what I'm saying? For real. So, what's that? You got the? You playing the joint?
Yeah, I'm gonna play just a piece of it real quick.
Hey, you know what?
This is one of my favorite songs, man.
Before you play that, but did you get that email that I sent to you with the song?
I meant to, bro. I meant to look at it this morning.
I didn't
wake up at 3 o'clock. It's in you say it's in our Mossi.
Yeah, could you grab that one real quick? Because that's the one I would like.
Let me see. Hey, Shawn, I ain't gonna be able to do it because I'm logged into this account for the Kofi Piesie TV.
Do you need what you need to go to your you need me to send it? I can forward it to you right here.
Yeah, well, forward it to hold on. LeBaris, damn.
Now just take your time and tell me, bro. I would like people to hear this one.
LeBaris, that's LAB.
Let me hit the LAB. BA.
No, yeah, LABARRACE. Nelson, that's NELSON. At yahoo.com.
Y'all still got Yahoos, huh? You must.
Yeah, I got 3 or 4. I got a Yahoo, I got a Gmail, I got our own personal email account, business account. I got about 5 or 6 emails, man. But I don't know. I just like using that Yahoo a lot because a lot of people have that Yahoo.
Damn.
So you don't want me to play that? You just want me to, play
the song that I sent you? That'd be nice.
Okay, let me go over here.
Yeah, they going. People haven't used the word sissy since '95. Damn, who they talking about? Who's a sissy? Fortunate sissy from the Fonchi trap. Hey, Shawn, you need to chill out, bro. I understand you. Shawn is one of them kids. Like, when you played with a kid growing up and they was too rough, they like, man, we supposed to be like, like shadow boxing. This dude really hitting you in the face, like he trying to get over the fact that his stepdaddy is abusing him or something, taking it out on you.
Shawn, and my parents wouldn't let me play with Shawn. I'm just gonna
Shawn.
They wouldn't let me play. But hey, send it to this in here, man. That same thing, LeBaris Nelson, but do LeBaris.
Neither one of y'all making sense.
LeBaris Nelson 357 at gmail.com. That same LeBaris, but just change it to 357 LeBaris Nelson 357 at gmail.com.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we couldn't play with Shawn, man. Shawn would be a big troublemaker. There'd be one person they tell me to stay away from.
I know you could play with me.
That's right.
If I decide to play with you.
Shawn the type of nigga that
I know you have no say over if y'all gonna play with me or not. It's if I'm gonna play with you.
Hey, Shawn, wow, bro. Wow.
Yeah, wow, yeah, Shawn crazy.
I love this guy, man. I love this guy.
I don't pay him no attention.
Nah, I dish it out as much. I gotta take it because I be dishing it out on niggas. Man. I ain't gonna lie.
But why? You just sent it?
Yeah, I sent it. Let me know when you get it. So hey, look, yo. So my favorite music artist, like as far as rapping, man, I'm gonna go with Nas. Oh yeah. I like Nas, man. Nas he can do what Tupac do, but I feel like he can do it better lyrically, energy-wise, no. I feel like he was smooth like Biggie, educated like Tupac, but he was like more of a mixture. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna go with Nas. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask you too. Your favorite lyricist.
Yeah, man. In a close second is Cannabis.
Ooh, fire! I like Cannabis.
Love Cannabis. He did a little self-sabotage, but I ain't heard nobody rap like him. Like, man, like, dude is amazing, man.
Yeah.
You just gotta stay out of the battle arena.
Oh, man. I mean, I don't need to, not in that kind of battle arena. Like we making songs. Yeah, we making songs, but I don't have no reason to ever. That's a whole different monster because those are people who they so stuck in their way of being so savage. That's the savage part of hip hop. But then when tell them to make a song, I don't know too many battle rappers that can make good songs, man.
Can I books out here? I'm gonna play the song.
And hey, and while we on it on favorites, I didn't have a favorite scholar as far as books, but as far as the conscious community is concerned, I do have some favorites when it comes to scientific literacy, like when it comes to like science, man, I most certainly favor the pseudo killers. But if I had to pick one person right now, I'm gonna say Asar Imhotep is that dude right there. Now, if I had to pick history as far as defending, like debating biblical history, I'm gonna have to go with Garfield. Garfield is not everybody's favorite. I freaking love that dude, Garfield, because that is kind of what I would have been had I been talking a lot with a lot of Hebrews. They would have not liked me because I would have been trying to just dismantle a lot of the foolishness that comes with them guys. And Shawn know. He like, man, you stay talking about these Hebrews, man. I'm like, I know, man, because these dudes they always bring up some stuff in history that, you know what I'm saying? And also when it comes to who or what group in the community I wouldn't want to mess with is the Aboriginal community. Them kind of guys, man, I have a loathe for revisionist history. It confuses you. It confuses you so much, man. I wouldn't even indulge them. I would tell y'all, don't indulge them unless you got a lot of time to kill or unless you're very good at it because, man, they are great at revisionist history. They're almost worse than the pharaohs and stuff like that. So, yeah. I do have favorites in the community. But, yeah, you going to play the song?
Yeah, I'm finna play it now. Hitting the button now. All
right, peace. I'm chill. I'm mute.
Can y'all hear that? I just stopped it, but could y'all hear it when I played it?
No. Is it on your speakers?
Let me see let me share my screen then. Let me see if I share it. Yeah.
The song is called Young Black Kings. It's me and my brother-in-law. We did this joint, and I'm on the second verse. His name is Seven Cree.
Can y'all see my screen?
Yeah.
Let's see let me know if y'all can hear it. Oh, I know why y'all can't hear it. I'm doing what I normally do. Hold on, y'all. God darn, that's why
You gotta change your audio source.
Yeah, I got to take that thing. What's the name off of there? Let me know if y'all can hear it now, and I can go back over here and I can play it from. All right, let me stop sharing my screen. Let me do this. All right, let me know if y'all can hear it now. I ain't played it yet. I'm finna play it.
Oh yeah, as soon as you play it, I'm gonna let you know.
They ain't doing nothing now. Hold on, let me go back out and go back in it. Hold on, y'all. I'm sorry. I was in it and all right, let me go back to Gmail. Cause it was playing through my headphone. That's why y'all couldn't hear it. All right, let's see what it do now.
Fortune finna find out that he part of the Choctaw.
Can y'all hear it?
Yeah, we hear it.
Okay.
You can't play the video.
It ain't a video, it's just the audio.
Negro, I'm young, black, and ambitious. Top of your missus, wish list. I got her blowing kisses, making late night calls and visits. Ain't with no handouts, but they got their hand out. They don't understand me, and that's because I stand out. Hey, I'm the man now. Hey, can't you tell? But that's a nigga. I can sell a furnace to a man in hell. So my ex sit back, take this L, drop the past in the coffin. You was just another nail. Y'all ain't looking too well. Y'all looking dry, we can pale. Said you got bars like a prison cell. Well, my ass posting bail. I got them sick to their stomach, and I just kept it 100. They sound fake and unwanted. Album sound underfunded. Okay, they claim that they run it. When it sound like they walk. If you ain't talking about hundreds, then why the hell are you talking? Bitch, I'm all about that green. Yeah, I love a queen. Get into my dreams. Martin Luther King. Malcolm X by any means. Next big thing on the big screen. Get my team 6 rings. Jordan on the chicken screen. Yeah. Young ambitious with big dreams. You looking at it, you black king. Bitch, I'm young, black, and ambitious. Hustling to get these riches. Young, black, and ambitious. Hustling to get these riches. Fuck your man. Shorty, fuck your man. You looking at it, you black king. Astro protect, blaster protect, pass your neck with the shit to leave a rapid erection. The back of a black Acura. Bullet ricochet in its way to the pass through your pecs. The assassin wet. All y'all, know y'all don't have to go. Sawed off shoddy, make the potty, probably call the law. Me no gangster, I'm no tuck, got me shout out the most out. I get on the mic, yeah, you go, bye. Devil don't test me, I throw shrapnel where your chest be. Shooting our family down in the streets. Fuck the police, they marching for me. Pull up, not that Rari, I ain't bad yet. I pull up, out that 85% of mass at. I put this on God, bad black is so hard. Bitch, I'm going back to Harlem in my West African garb. What the fuck, I gotta toughen up so I can bat a puff for me to bludgeon up. If you study, know it's gonna be bloody. Got a billion ways for them to lock you up. Educate and anticipate. This whole planet they decimate. Young man's better make bands better. Our ancestors like SMH. Back on this king shit. Nestle bitty, mogul never got a proper title king shit. I cock a mini, mama give me cups of Henny. I'm a shot the Henny rings lit. And I don't fuck with Molly or that lean. I just lay up with my young black queens. Young black and ambitious. Hustling to get these riches. Young black and ambitious. Hustling to get these riches. Fuck your man. Shorty, fuck your man. You looking at a young black king.
You snapped on that porch. I like that. You snapped on that, man. But you answered the last question, Fortune, already, man. We done ran out of time. We got.
What you mean you ran out of time? This our channel, man.
Yeah.
What we run out of time for? You see how he try to limit our brother, man? We don't never get to talk to him. We finally get him on the interview, and now we want to get rid of the time.
No, you can just do the questions now, y'all. We good. I mean,
shoot, that was the end. Unless somebody got some more questions, that was all I had.
I got a question.
Yeah, come on, Shawn. That's
Where the hell is our intro song on the Mossi Warrior Clan channel?
Bro, that's yours.
No, that ain't the Young Black Queen. That's some old shit.
Oh! I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you see how you just try to play us though? You see how you just try to play us?
No. You know
where our song at? Where our song at?
It's coming. It's me. It's finna
you
come.
Keep saying it's coming.
Hey, you know your man just gave me this beat, right? A Confo. Did you hear it?
Nah, I ain't heard it.
That's hard. It's hard. It's hard. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. He got a beat. Your boy Panda Piesie, bro.
Panda, he sent you a beat.
He made a beat.
Now I gotta go cuss him out of his chat because he sent you a beat.
Now he put it in the master chat. He put it in the master chat.
Nah, it ain't in no master chat, bro. I'm gonna go back in there and look.
I seen it before he posted on his Facebook page. He posted in the website. I mean, in the Mossi Warrior Clan Messenger.
Yeah, I want to shout out the channel formerly known as New Black Knowledge. Yo, that story. Tell y'all that story is going to only take 1 minute. That story is an epic story. Somebody need to make a movie about that story. We was all comment section trolls inside of the chat, bro. Them dudes can't say nothing, bro. We was comment section trolls. It used to be all Hebrew Israelites trolling African-centered people. Man, I don't know if any of y'all in the chat or anybody that's watching remember the days where you go in the side of the chat and there'd be a guy named Dr. Tutan. This nigga would troll everybody. You want to talk disrespectful? This nigga's disrespectful. We cleared that whole comment section with the hashtag NBK. It used to stand for nigga brew killers. Because the guy who was NBK, he said he coined the phrase nigga brew. And when we all got together and we wanted to make it like something legit, I said, man, we're going to be New Black Consciousness with a K, or New Black Knowledge. And that was a platform, bro, that attracted a lot of intelligent people like Danny. Later on, Robborn, Garfield even used to come on, had him with us. We used to be with him. He used to have us with him all the time to back him up. And then Shawn used to. I don't know if he really used to scream MBK, but there was a time like 2017. We was like a super group over there. I wasn't really that involved. I'd be on the show because I was like supporting. But man, yo, them brothers is powerful, man. And man, I know people been beefing back and forth. I'm just dealing with the information. I still recommend that channel. I still recommend this channel that you own, that you're watching, and the Mossi Tribe, and the Amin Ra Squad, and the Pseudo Killers, because we're not dealing with no crazy stuff, bro. We're dealing with science and pure history. The stuff that they want to quote unquote is boring. I stopped watching certain channels because the guests were bringing the same old arguments, same old BS that we've been knocking down and dealing with and dividing the community. But these channels need to be built up. These need to be the ones with 40,000 views. We got work to do still. It's a lot of work that's out. We're going to keep doing it. We're just going to keep doing it. And this is the goal. And to bring on, like Shawn and Kofi, I first met them like 4 years ago, and they were at a certain point, but I've watched them grow from being people who are like learning on the session to publishing books and being almost experts in the part of history that deals with West Africa. So if they can do it, I know I can do it. If I can do anything, y'all can do it. So, I mean, hey, I'm just here bigging up the platform, man, bigging up my brothers, you know.
Most deaf, man. We greatly, man, appreciate you, man, for coming on, man. This was I enjoyed this, bro. I'll be honest with you. This was a good interview, man.
Yeah,
good interview, man. I appreciate it, man.
I got some ideas, yo. Because, you know, like I never used to have the ability to go. I used to have a rinky-dink phone and couldn't go live on. Now I got a means to talk to people. So if we ever do, like, if y'all let me know if there's ever a topic we all gonna build on, I could come every weekend and we can.
Oh, now you wanna come and build. Now you want to come and build.
Now that I got the means, Shawn.
This is what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
this is what I'm talking about. We've been trying to do that. We've been trying to get you to present, do your own little thing. Nah, you know what you wanted to do? You wanted to sell us out. You want to sell the Mossi out, just like your people. That's how we know you Fonty. This how we know you Fonty. This how we know you Fonty. You try to sell us out, and you try to sell Kofi Piesie Research out and the Mossi Warrior Clan out, and go do your presentation on the Dagger Squad. That's some Fonty shit. That's some Fonty shit right there.
First of all, y'all don't beat them niggas.
No. I don't care what kind of presentation it was. I don't care what kind of presentation it was. It's Fonty. You moving like a Fonty. You moving like a Fonty.
You're not moving like a Fonty. Here's the thing, though.
You moving like your ancestors.
Hey, who want to see the Mossi talk about black films, black film review on the Mossi Trap channel?
We do.
I will do that. We can set that up where we do it where y'all do y'all regular show. Cause I'm a film buff. You know, I do acting. I would love for us to go through the catalogs of Denzel Washington films, Spike Lee film. That shit, that's the kind of stuff people will watch.
Hey, if we did that. Let me in on that, bro. Cause me and Satep and T'Challa, we kind of started a movie show where we review movies and stuff
on this channel.
Yeah, we didn't finish it, but you know, we did like 2 episodes, but
now you got a tour, baby. Now you got a film buff. So hey, y'all just let it just like I came to this, I'll come to that. Look, bro, with West Africa, I'm far more of a student. We was talking about Egypt, I'll be quoting certain things, but we learning, and I'm gonna contribute my part with stuff like that. I mean, I would like to bring a lot of the entertainment part to the Mossi, man. I wanna man juicy it up, man. Found a better word, not juicy. I wanna like bring the excitement, bring some of the excitement, because y'all brothers exciting, y'all come with good information, but we want to be able to keep them coming here and just build the audience. So I mean, maybe we can do that. Maybe we can talk about that. I got the means to do it now, and then we could do a hip hop show. Sutek, we could talk about, man, bro. Talking about
Sutek was doing that too. Sutek,
we can hit it from an African. We can twist it. We can put the history in it. We can put the African stuff in it, man. We can talk about a lot of stuff, man.
Yeah, that's what we can do. That's what we can do. See, I ain't letting it down. You know what I'm saying? Because you went on a whole nother platform and presented the whole time. All we kept saying was, whenever you ready for 2 years, 3 years, Fortune, whenever you're ready to present, bro, we gonna set the show up and we just give you the link and you rock out.
Shooting movies, living life, chasing women around.
We ain't get no songs. I don't care nothing about your dry ass movies that you shooting. None of that.
Damn! I love this dude. I'm like, people like this to check you, bro. He said my movie's dry, bro. I got two movies coming up in the future, and we'll be getting
We can't wait on them. Right now, we're talking about their presentation. Don't be trying to smoke us out with the movies. Bro,
the presentation was what do you? I don't have a word for, but Garfield commissioned. He asked for assistance dealing with a certain topic that I was intrigued by. I did not want to taint the Mossi name by bringing a bunch of nigga brews over here, because I know y'all classy people that deal with West Africa. But if I do a presentation, I will do it here, whether it be on film, whether it be on whatever. And then if somebody come over here, y'all better back me up then if some crazy niggas start attacking the platform, because I didn't want nobody to attack the platform. They attack Dagger Squad. Dagger Squad, that's what they do. We here being classy Negroes. We don't drink we drink Cristal. We don't drink, you know what I'm saying? We don't drink regular stuff, man. We some, you know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to big y'all up though, but nah, yeah. Any of my presentations, the few that I have done have been dealing with certain topics that I did never want to drag y'all into, but I would love to do some of that stuff here on this platform, man. That should be fun. Matter of fact, y'all could do a poll. Like y'all can have like a poll where whatever movie we talk about, and we just people vote and we just talk about it, man.
Yeah, no doubt.
Go in depth. Like, what was the last movie any of y'all seen? Any of y'all? When was the last movie?
I watched Greenland. On demand. That mother was pretty good.
Greenland?
Yeah, Greenland.
What was that about?
Yeah, it just came out last year. Yeah, I don't want to ruin for anybody, man, but if you got on demand, go look that up.
What about you, Kofi?
Man, it's kind of like a semi-sci-fi, but it's got a little storyline to it. It's pretty dope. And it's suspenseful.
What about you?
A movie called Startup.
Startup? Who was in that?
Man, I don't think nobody would be really familiar with, but the storyline would draw me into it about people starting up companies and how this Haitian gangster, this white European whose father took money from people, and this other white gangster, I think he might have been.
You watching West? It sound wet. He can't even explain it right.
I'm telling you, it's good. I can't know what the ethnicity of it, but it was like 3 different ethnicities, and it was a certain thing that brought these people together that actually started this startup company where they deal with. It's talking about Bitcoin, like Bitcoin, but it was called Gen Coin. And this current cryptocurrency was better than, and it was stole by the Russian mafia. And then they created something else on the black market where people can go in. They were selling drugs on the black market, chemical. I mean, it was a dope movie. The storyline.
Never get a movie from a dude in Hattiesburg or wherever the hell Mississippi.
I'm in Brookhaven, sir. I'm not in
Brookhaven, Mississippi. Never get a movie recommendation from somebody we gotta translate or decipher the language.
Yeah, I'm glad you mess with everybody. It ain't personal. Sue Taylor's last film you seen?
Last movie I watched was The Father, Anthony Hopkins movie. Great movie, man. It's talking about, it basically showed the perspective of an old guy that got dementia. And instead of showing it from the outside perspective, it's showing it from his perspective. So it's a lot of plot twists, and it's a dope movie, man.
Okay. Last one I watched that was a contained film. Damn, it was Mortal Kombat. Mortal Dang Kombat. But I've watched
I saw that 2 weeks ago.
Hold on. What did you think about, because there's a lot of mixed reviews about that. What did you think about it?
I never. So the first game came out in 1992, I think, in arcades. I was too young to play any of the games, and in retrospect, I never played any of the games. And I played a little bit here and there. So the little bit I do know, I always watch the films as films, and they always sucked as films. Video game movies are the hardest source material to translate into film. So this one was. I think the original 95 Mortal Kombat was slightly better than this one, But hey,
it was better than Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Oh my goodness! Even I used to watch that on Comcast. I was like, "What the hell is this? What the hell?" Jesus. Yeah, man. Yeah, I would love to talk about that stuff because that's people like. I mean, why is that off limits on stuff like that? It's educational stuff, disseminating films and music, man. It's always an aspect, man.
Yeah.
So man, let's put that together and we can talk about that off air.
Yeah. But like I said, man, appreciate you for coming on the platform, man. We greatly appreciated you. Like I said, I enjoyed the interview. I hope everybody else enjoyed the interview. I want to say I said ETM Hotep in the beginning. That means bring forth peace, right? So now I want to say Shimon Hotep. Shimon Hotep just means to depart in peace. So I hope everybody have a great evening, and we'll see y'all the next time, man. Peace and Black African power, and we out of here.
Peace and love, everybody. Take care.
I'm gonna do this real quick. Let me go here. I should have already had this pulled up. I did it again. I had my stuff playing through my damn.